think both of us, and then most likely 90% of the boxing industry picked Devin Haney to win, and uh, it happens. It's boxing.
Yeah, I mean, everybody was surprised. That was an outcome nobody was expecting. Um, that fight wasn't the outcome we were expecting. And like for him to lose the way that he did, that's what surprised me. Is the way that he lost. It wasn't. They made it clear as day. They came in. They did what they had to do. Ryan Garcia had a brilliant master plan in making Devin Haney comfortable by making a fool out of himself, making people think that he was going crazy. He fooled me. He fooled everybody. Made people think that he was going crazy. Went to the weigh-in, drank the beer. On the scale, came in 3 pounds heavier. And to be honest, the 3 pound difference, I don't think that's what people. Oh, 3 pounds. It does make a small adjustment. It does play a part. But the day of the fight, I heard that Devin Haney came in heavier. I would understand if Devin would have came in 5 pounds lighter than Ryan. Then I would say, okay, that's a valid excuse. And Garcia, that's what threw me off. I was like, wait, you can't use weight as a factor in this.
I just think that those who are upset about the weight are probably the Ryan Garcia lost to Tank Davis. They weren't saying much back then when Ryan Garcia got knocked out by Tank Davis. But now that Ryan Garcia beat Devin Haney, I think those are the same ones. What do you think?
No, I definitely, like I said, man, I think you're right on the money. I'm not gonna argue with you on that. I give props to Ryan. Regardless, I didn't agree with what he was doing, the way he portrayed himself, because that's not a way that an athlete should portray himself as a role model for the kids. But he went in there and he got the job done. You know what I mean? Because like I said, regardless of what I think of my values and the way that I think he should have went about it, like also at the fight, great performance. But I feel like he should have been a gentleman at the end and boxed the right way without doing all the sticking out his tongue and doing all that buffoonery. He didn't need to do that. He was winning the fight. He clearly outboxed him. Was fighting. He dropped him. So why make himself look the way that he did at the end of the fight? You know what I mean? He already had it in the bag. There was no reason to. He would have looked classier. He would have looked like a better fighter. Instead, he chose to go with the clown of the route of a clown.
You know what someone actually said to me is, my brother actually said to me, he didn't like the clowning as well because it reminded him of the De La Hoya and Trinidad fight. De La Hoya was like cruising the last rounds and lost that fight that some thought De La Hoya won. So De La Hoya lost that fight against Trinidad. Imagine if Ryan Garcia would have lost for clowning around.
And things like that. You never know. I mean, it was clear as day that he was gonna win. But I do agree, man. Like if he could have got clipped by clowning around and would have turned the whole tables around, it only needed a little bit. You know what I mean? Like it would only have been a couple of seconds, 10 seconds after you get clipped. That's all you need for you to lose the fight. And he gave all that opportunity. He got plenty of time left for him to stop clown, not clown, but he decided to do it. He got away with it, got the win. I give him his props for getting the win, but the way he got the win, I don't agree with it. Like he dropped him, that's fine. You can't argue with that. He dropped him. He caught Haney with three left hooks, which I still think that Devin should have adjusted after the getting hit by one or two of them. The third one shouldn't have landed the way that he did. Um, when you're at that elite level of fighting, you gotta adjust those things. If you get hit with one punch, you gotta make sure that you don't get hit with the same punch again. Which is hard because it's two guys throwing punches. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, bro, you gotta look at it that way. You gotta think like, man, this guy, he needed to adjust. If he would have been adjusted, he would have done good. Another thing that I don't agree with, and I've seen this from Teofimo's dad and Devin Haney's dad, they want to be bigger than their sons. They want to be the face of their son's team. They do more talking than their own kids. You can't do that. You're not the fighter. First of all, Teofimo's dad is not a coach. He didn't make Teofimo. Teofimo was made by Gamboa's dad back in Florida. That's who started Teofimo up as an amateur. Devin Haney, Marshall Lenser, was one of the guys that played a key factor in his amateur career. You had a little bit of Ismael Salas working with Devin. Sab Judah, Rodney Chrysler. I mean, the one that they called the Pad Man over there in Vegas. There's a couple of coaches that were behind Devin Haney. So Bill is just a face. He's just a face that talks. That's it. But he doesn't do none of the coaching.
Bill sure does a lot of talking. Yeah. I guess some of these fathers they want the fame. I don't know what it is, but they want the spotlight.
And I understand. It's different if you got the spotlight and you're being supportive of your son. Like, I believe my son's gonna win. Giving your son actual advice. Look at Teofimo's dad the last fight. They didn't know what to tell Teofimo, how to adjust. Just go, go, go. Like, come on, that's no advice.
They're not doing what Tito and his dad did. That was a great combination.
Yeah.
The best combination, dad and son, was Tito and his father.
Juan Felix y Tito Trinidad, yes sir. That was, to this day there hasn't been a better father son duo. You know what I mean? They both made it into the Hall of Fame. So it's crazy, It's crazy because you don't see that. Usually a lot of fighters, they don't like working with their dads because their dads aren't good coaches. They want to be parents first, but with them it was different. And same thing with Devin and Teofimo. They're trying to add to a formula that's not going to work for them.
And with this big win for Ryan Garcia, obviously everyone wants a piece of Ryan Garcia now. So the latest interview that I just saw a few hours ago was Mario Barrios calling out Ryan Garcia. Mario Barrios.
Mario Barrios is good, but no disrespect to him. He's a friend of mine. He has no business going on in there with Ryan right now. No business.
But Mario Barrios is a big guy. He's a big guy.
Mario Barrios is a big guy. Cuban boxing, great fighter, great boxer. But the reason why, I'm going to tell you, Mario Barrios is not ready for that fight because he's still recovering from that Keith Thurman loss. Career, that's his life.
And speaking of recovery, do you think Haney will recover from this loss?
But we need to give him about, I'd say, as his dad or his corner, the people working with him, I'd give him about half a year, maybe a year to get back into it. Because when a fighter loses, that's a career determining factor. When you lose, you're on top of the world if you don't know how to recover from a loss, not everybody's able to. Not everybody's able to recover from a loss. You know, Manny Pacquiao was one of the guys that lost early on in his career. His 14th fight became a Hall of Famer. Bernard Hopkins lost his pro debut, became a legend. So he has to find it in himself, and now is when he's gonna find out, is he really a champion? Is he really champion material? Because a champion is not the fighter that's always winning, is always undefeated. A champion is the guy that is able to bounce back and show what he has even after a defeat. You know, and like I said, I don't take anything away from Floyd. Floyd was the best boxer that there is. But a fighter and a boxer is different. Pretty Boy Floyd was a great fighter. Great fighter. Now, Floyd Money Mayweather was a great boxer. Two different entities, two different fighters, two different eras. You know, so you see two different sides of Floyd. Floyd can fight, but he later on in his career decided to do it the smart way. That's why he has the record that he has. He's undefeated, but there will only be one Floyd Mayweather. They try to make Devin Haney into a Floyd Mayweather. We all see how that turned out.
Since you mentioned Bernard Hopkins just said that this loss could have possibly ruined Devin Haney.
And it's true. We won't know. We won't. I don't want to speak bad or ill because I don't wish any fighter any will, any bad, you know. But I do think that this is gonna affect Devin, which way it can affect him. It can make him bounce back into a way better fighter than he is, or it can deteriorate his career. Whether it's for good or it's for bad, that's completely up to him to find out himself.
Also, do you think that there should be a rematch between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney? Is it even necessary?
As of right now, I don't think there should be any rematch. The rematch clause, if there was any, shouldn't be activated for the fact that Devin has to get back on his horse. He has to get back and have his mentality straight and everything. I'm not saying Devin Haney can't come back and be Ryan, because he can. He definitely can. Um, but he needs to find himself right now. As a fighter, he needs to go through that journey because the hardest part of a fighter's journey is the journey of when you lose. Coming back from a loss. That's the hardest part. Because I remember Joel Casamayor, Cuban world champion, used to train me, used to tell me that. He's like, when I won and I was a champion, I had people literally offering themselves to wipe my butt after a fight. And I'm like, what the heck, dude? Like, he's like, but the moment I lost, all those people that were there offering me all that and trying to do all these things, they left me. I only had one call on my phone, and that was it. And it was from my own manager. That was all. That was all. He's like my management team, my promoter, everybody just kind of stopped being behind me. Then I won a couple more fights, got back on my horse, started started doing things like I shouldn't, and my career started going downhill.
Haney, I think, underestimated Ryan Garcia. What do you think? I think he underestimated him.
I do think he underestimated him, but it's not that he underestimated him. I'm gonna tell you what happened. He got confident, overconfident. Went into the fight, he was seeing how Ryan was not really like in the videos he was making, like he wasn't taking training seriously. He was playing around. He was talking about all these crazy things and that his mind wasn't straight, all that. He played into the game that Ryan was playing. He fell into it. Anybody would have because Ryan played the part, bro. Like I'd give Ryan Garcia an Oscar for his performance. I would give him an Oscar for his performance because everybody believed he was going crazy.
I guess it's true what a few fighters have told me in the past that that some of you guys will bluff. You will bluff going into a fight. Is that true?
Mhm. Oh yeah, a lot of fighters will bluff. A lot of fighters will bluff. Even in the fight, fighters bluff. You know, bluffing is there's fighters that get hit with a body shot. They feel like, oh damn, like putting their knee down and taking an 8 count. But they keep a straight face and they're breathing hard through their nose and they're boxing. They look like they're still good, they're okay, but they deep inside, you touch them again with the same shot, they're gonna go down.
What are your thoughts after Ryan Garcia beat Haney and said
It's
everyone
not that
thought
we
this
didn't think
pretty
he
boy
could
couldn't
fight.
fight?
It's just the way he was portraying himself. Again, after the fight, man, I don't agree with what he did. You know, he went and started smoking weed and like going into the cameras and all that. Come on now, like I understand you're celebrating, you're winning. If you want to go do that, go do it. You don't need a camera to show everybody what you're doing because guess what? Now these kids are looking at that and they're like, oh, you know what? I can be a boxer too. And oh, Ryan Garcia smokes weed and he boxes, so I can do the same thing. And that ruins the amateurs, that the fighters that are growing up looking up to him, that they're an amateur caliber. They think now, oh, I can smoke weed, I can train and smoke weed, or I can do all these things and not take training so seriously. Look, Ryan did it. He was drinking beer at a weigh-in. You know, it's gonna deteriorate our amateur boxers if they start following his example of what he's putting out there.
Obviously, Ryan Garcia's confidence went up, uh, but right now he wants to move up in weight and fight Sebastian Fundura. Do you think
Mhm.
that's a smart fight? You, what do you think?
He's high on his own hype. That's what's going on. I don't think that's a smart fight. Why are you gonna go up from 140 to 154? You're almost going up like two two divisions, almost three, to go fight a guy that big, that tall, that awkward. There's no reason why he don't need to go up in that way. Then he was calling out Tank for a rematch at 145. Tank don't need that rematch right now. Tank right now, he don't need that rematch. Right now, Tank has the negotiating terms on his table. Ryan Garcia needs to beat two more champions in order to have the same negotiation power that Tank has right now.
Referee Harvey Dock. There's a lot of boxing fans that are upset with that referee.
It is what it is. At the end of the day, I look at it as like the fight happened, shoulda, coulda, woulda, move on from it. You know what I mean? Like I understand in the fight as a fighter, I would understand. I'd be frustrated, but I've also came to the conclusion when I've been in fights. There's been fights where the ref has stepped in. Me being able to knock out a fighter has stepped in and let them catch a breather or like, oh, like kind of call something that wasn't even there to give the fighter a chance to catch his breath. Because you can't let that be the determining factor or blame a judge, blame a ref. Oh, it was because of this. No. As a fighter, you need to adjust to those things. You need to make up for it. And if it doesn't go your way, it didn't go your way. Regardless if the judges had a part to play with it, you needed to figure out yourself what it was going to take for you to win that fight.
Do you think those were slips that Harvey Dock called slips, or do you think they were knockdowns?
In all honesty, maybe there were knockdowns. I'm not completely 100% sure. Maybe he saw something that we didn't see. But at the end of the day, we all know Devin Haney was the A side fighter in that fight. We all know Devin Haney was the A side. So when you're the A side fighter, a lot of these judges, a lot of these refs, they're gonna pull slick things just to help you out win the fight because you're the fighter that they want to win. They don't want the other fighter to win. I mean, look at it this way: if Ryan Garcia bet it 2 million and won 12, that means that everybody who betted on Ryan winning, even if it was $100, they made 1,200. So a lot of people won money. The casinos lost a lot of money. That didn't go how they expected it to go.
So in other words, this isn't a fight of the year candidate. This might just be a upset of the year.
Definitely, it definitely has potential to be the upset of the year. I would consider it the upset of the year.
And also, what were your thoughts when you heard one judge have scored this a draw?
I I don't know why he scored the draw, because there was clearly 8 counts that were given. You know what I mean? So that maybe I would have seen it like, maybe, Ryan Garcia won by one point. I could have seen that, or 2 points. I could have seen that, but I will tell you, Devin was boxing good. He was doing his thing, but once he got caught, it just went downhill for him.
Do you think that perhaps Haney fell into Ryan Garcia's fight? He fought Ryan Garcia's fight and not his fight?
It's not that he fell into Ryan Garcia's fight. Like I said, he just wasn't expecting Ryan to be as prepared as he was for the fight.
In a rematch, do you think Haney could possibly beat Ryan Garcia?
I believe that's what's going to happen. I believe that Devin is going to beat Ryan coming back in the rematch. But like I said, we're talking if Devin Haney comes back focused, comes back to the old Haney, to where he's moving, he's thinking, he doesn't get caught with the same shot over and over again. We're talking about that Haney. Haney can beat him. Now, if we're talking about the Haney we saw this fight, that came in confident, that didn't think Ryan was going to do anything, same result.
What are your thoughts when some say that Haney has beat a smaller fighter in Loma and a smaller fighter in Prograde, and now is lost against a bigger fighter in Ryan Garcia?
I mean,
Uh,
listen, I don't think Devin beat Loma. I do not think Devin beat Loma. I think Loma beat the hell out of Haney. They just gave Haney was the favorite at that point. He was the A-side fighter. Now, people can talk and people are going to talk, but we all know, even for the longest time, they kept Devin at 135. Devin was struggling. I'm talking about Devin's been fighting at 135 since he was 16. He was struggling to make that weight. Now he moved up to 140. He's barely adjusting to the power of people at 140. And Ryan Garcia came in at 143, which again shouldn't have played a factor, because Devin came in way heavier the next day. But at the end of the day, he still needs to adjust to that weight class's power. It's bigger fighters. When you're fighting at 140, the guys are coming down from 160, 150 that they're walking around at. That's when you fight at 130. They try to bring up fighters from 126, 130 and catch them 3 weeks or 2 weeks before the fight. Or they'll have fighters that fight at 140 go down and drag down to 135.
but I'm just wondering if Haney wasn't able to take if he's gonna eventually move up in weight, then he's probably not gonna be able to absorb the other fighters' power, the other champions up there.
He needs to train his chin. He needs to grab a dumbbell, barbell, tie it with a shirt, or use the neck thing where you just go like that, or just do it old school like I do it. I grab a shirt, tie it around. I have the workout actually in my Instagram. Tie it around a plate, put it through the hole, grab it, bite it, and then I'm just up and down, and side to side, because that strengthens your jaw muscles and clenching. So when you get punched, you know how to clench. It gives you the strength in your face and in your neck to receive the punches and be able to take the hits, because at the end of the day, man, these punches are not vitamins. You need to avoid getting hit that much, and if you can, you need to train your body to be able to resist it as much as possible. Power, but you can train a fighter to receive power punches.
So, in other words, a fighter with a glass jaw, as some name it, a glass jaw, can get some help.
A fighter with a glass jaw, as long as it's not in the bone or in the dentin of the bone, you can definitely build muscle, do different exercises that are gonna strengthen you so that you're able to take punches. And you're able to take them and not get dropped. Now, if you're a fighter that just trains in the boxing aspect, I'm gonna fix it and not get hit. You're gonna, regardless, it's boxing. You're gonna get hit at one time. You're gonna get dropped. Yes, sir. Neck curls. Neck curls. That's exactly right. Neck curls is a way to do it. Jaw clenching with the weight and curling up. There's different exercises that you can do to strengthen your chin, your jaw, your neck muscles to make yourself be able to take a power punch. But you cannot train a fighter to be a power puncher.
What happens if Haney were to eventually face a guy like Tank Davis? Can he actually take that power? Because it seems like nobody can take Tank Davis's power.
Listen, I sparred Devin, I sparred Rolando, I sparred Tank. Rolando, me and him, we clipped each other. He hit hard, but I knew the moment that me and him sparred, I knew he didn't have what it takes to beat Tank. Tank, when he hit me, he's only been one of the only fighters to ever drop me in a sparring session. Talking about in a sparring session, drop me, Tank Davis. Devin Haney, great boxing IQ, no power. And I sparred him too. You know, out of all them, this is the thing. People think Tank doesn't have good boxing IQ. Tank has phenomenal boxing IQ. And what helps him is Coach Cal. Coach Cal is like Tank has a conscience outside of the ring, because everything Coach Cal tells him to do, Tank will do it.
You know what? I just thought of something. Speaking of Haney having no power, uh, back in the day, Whitaker didn't have devastating power, but Whitaker was a great boxer and was able to beat some great opponents, some great fighters.
But we're talking about a legend. We're talking about a different era. The work ethic of the fighters nowadays compared to the work ethic of those fighters back then is completely different. You had somebody like Pernell Whitaker training before. Those were guys that, even if they were sore, even if they were done working out, they would stay in the gym and do some extra to work out. These fighters nowadays, they're done with the workout. Oh, I gotta rest my body because my body doesn't take it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the same. You're talking about an era, and this is one thing that Devin hasn't gone through. Devin, his dad is well off, which I don't beat him for this. It's like if I was a father and I had everything put together and I can give my kids the best opportunity I can, I'm gonna give it to them. But Devin hasn't been through the struggle like all these fighters like Pernell Whitaker that they came from nothing. They came from no money. They had to go to the gym, become somebody, and make it big. Floyd Mayweather, he went through the struggle living in Flint, Michigan, and going through all those things he went through with his uncle and his dad. He got it out the mud. Devin Haney was a fighter that he's always had money. He's always had things behind him backing him up. Doesn't take away from him being a great fighter, but he just doesn't have that dog that you need, when it comes to things like these.
I hear you. Uh, I gotta ask you about Ryan Garcia freaking out on Pro Box crew after his win against Haney, and how he was acting crazy, swearing at Chris Algieri and swearing at Paulie Malignaggi. What did you think when you heard him flip out on those guys?
There's no reason for him to flip out on them. I mean, everybody picked Devin Haney over Ryan Garcia. You know, it's because of what he was portraying. If you're a fighter and you're gonna portray that you're a fighter, do stuff that a fighter does. If you don't want people to look at you like a clown because you're acting like a clown, then stop acting like a clown and take it serious. He don't need to be talking. He don't need to be doing all that. Fine, it was a strategy. Okay, he could have got on and said that to the media, and maybe went face to face, not go through social media and put it out there. Just go face to face and tell those fighters, hey, you said I wasn't gonna win, and look, I shut you up. And I guarantee you, these guys, those champions by themselves, would have went on the media, and they would have been like, you know what, we were wrong about the Ryan Garcia. They would have cleaned Ryan Garcia's name. There's no reason for him to react the way that people want him to react, because that's just gonna make him look dumb now.
What do you think when Ryan Garcia's father was freaking out on Eddie Hearns and and, and Eddie Hearns? I got Boots Ennis next. Boots Ennis against Ryan Garcia. Imagine that fight.
So, I like I said, I was listening to the interview. I think Ryan's dad should have waited a little bit and heard the the whole thing, the way he was expressing himself about his son, because he literally just started cussing him out, which made him look bad. Again, made him look bad because he just started like cussing him out. F you, F this. Like, I understand he's standing up for his son, which he needs to. That's his dad. He's gonna be on his son's side. But there's a way to go about it. Hey, you know what, Eddie? I didn't hear the interview. You know what? I don't like how you're referring to my son. Done it behind closed doors, or even if he would have came like that up to her and like that, but basically, like, how do you call it? He would have came to him right there on the camera, came and talked to him like that. I feel like he would have got more respect like that than the way that he was blasting it out and talking, because it just became a scandal after that.
Uh, Ryan Garcia's father, while he was yelling at Eddie Hearns, he mentioned that he wants Pitbull Cruz next, but Pitbull Cruz still has to get through Rayo Valenzuela. If Pitbull Cruz can get through Rayo Valenzuela, uh, how do you see that fight playing out? Can Pitbull Cruz beat Ryan Garcia?
Yes, yes. Now, this Rayo Valenzuela fight, you got a fighter that has lost, that came back. Sorry about that. You got a fighter that lost, that came back, and the way that they did the face off, I don't like what Pitbull did when Ryo gave him the hand to shake it, and he just turned around and just mad dogged him. Like, come on, bro, you're the champ. You just became the champ. Don't let it get to your head. Come on, be humble. Stay humble. People like you, Pitbull. People like Pitbull Cruz because Pitbull was a quiet, humble Mexican that showed it in the ring as a fighter. But if you're gonna start going the route that, oh, trying to intimidate people or trying to make yourself look more than what you are, that's not gonna play out good for you. Ryo has the boxing abilities to make Pitbull look bad and Pitbull not be able to fight. Because regardless of Pitbull putting pressure, Ryo's dealt with pressure before. You know, now we're talking about a fighter like Ryan. We saw that he couldn't deal with pressure against a fighter like Oscar Duarte. And Duarte wasn't throwing as much as he usually throws in that fight.
So before I let you go, who would you like to see Ryan Garcia fight next?
You know, at 140, I would like to see him fight Subriel Matias. That would be an interesting fight, him and Subriel Matias.
How would you see that fight playing out?
I feel like Subriel Matias would definitely dominate just due to the fact that Subriel is calm paced fighter. He's calm. He'll wait it out. Ryan will start getting tired early on. Give it like fourth round. Subriel starts throwing, hurts Ryan. I don't see Ryan going past maybe the eighth round.
I like Tito's left hook better than I like Ryan Garcia's hook.
Yeah, no, you that Trinidad left hook, man, that was a killer. My uncle, he even tells me, he's like, man, you need that trademark. Keep it in the family. He's trying to teach me that left hook. He's like, you need to keep that trademark in the family. So me and him, I'm actually gonna release some videos, but me and him are going Tuesday to work out at the gym and work on a couple of things. So I'm gonna take some footage and I'll post it. But yeah, it's definitely me and him are gonna work on some things.
All right, look forward to seeing that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for being on once again.
No, no, no problem, Ivan. Anytime, man. Anytime.